over here, I have 3 different types of seeds growing. I have Snapdragons, Geraniums, and Coleus, and all of these seeds were started in bulk. Let me talk to you about the easiest way, at least for me, to grow a lot of seeds in a very small space. I have been doing this starting in bulk idea for quite a few years now. This right here are my lovely, lovely geraniums. They are definitely ready to be transplanted, and I'm going to show you how to do that towards the end of this video. But these beautiful, beautiful geraniums, I just spread the seeds in this 5x5 container, and they have been growing here. So nice. I can't even look in the middle. I mean, the textures are very, very thick together. And over here, I have my lovely, lovely Snapdragons. I have 5 different types of Snapdragons. They're doing just so well. They are definitely needing to be potted up, to be moved into bigger containers. And over here, my lovely Coleus. Look at that, gorgeous. They're definitely ready as well. So all of these guys, all of these 3 varieties here of plants that I have growing in small containers are going to be potted up today. I'm definitely going to spend a couple of hours moving these guys into bigger containers. But if you can imagine, I have a lot of Snapdragons here. I have a lot of Geraniums, and I have a lot of Coleus. Starting them in bulk allows me to have a lot of seeds growing in a very small space. And all of these guys together take about 2/3 of these 10x20 tray. Now imagine if I was starting all of these, every single seed here of Snapdragons in a small container, 1 seed per little container. It will take me about 2 to 3 trays maybe. And the same thing for these geraniums. It will probably take me a whole tray to get 1 seed per container. So starting the seeds in bulk, it really is helpful, at least for me, in the way that I see it, to get the seeds to germinate. I don't plan to leave this here as their home. The only reason why I do this is 1, to save space, and 2, to make sure that the seeds that are not going to germinate are not taking any extra space. So when these guys, any seeds that I have grown in bulk are ready to be moved up into bigger containers, then I can decide what containers I'm going to use, and they'll be grown in their next containers for, individually as independent plants. So I am going to show you how easy it is to divide this. I know that seeing something like this, it can be a little bit intimidating, especially to divide in, but it's really easy. As long as you are very careful handling the roots, you don't have to worry about much. These plants will do amazing. And if you are wondering where I get these 5x5s or these 10x10s or these 10x20 trays in the different colors that I use, they come from Bootstrap Farmer, and they are the one sponsoring this video today. And if you have zero clue about who Bootstrap Farmer is, they are a company based in the US, and they make these lovely, lovely containers, pots, trays, greenhouses, hoop houses. And I started using Bootstrap Farmer stuff from year 1, about 5 years ago. Actually, one of the first things that I got from there that year was a 10x10 tray. But if you're not sure about, buying from them, I get it. I personally love their color selection. I love their sizes. I can mix and match as I want to. But one of the things I personally love is the resources they have on their website. Their website is literally full with a lot of goodies, you guys. Not only they show you all the supplies that they have, but they also teach you about how to use them, how to use the things that they sell, and also teach you about a lot of things. If we go to the resource pages, let's go to blogs. They have a lot of subjects to go if you want to learn about flower farming, microgreens, urban farming, a lot of information there. And that's one of the things that I really, really love about a company, when they sell amazing things for the garden, but also teach you how to use them, or at least get inspired and do something smaller in your own place. One of the things that I am looking at this year and was actually inspired by them is about how to trellis my tomatoes. And I haven't mentioned this before, but this is what I'm going to do. So if you're watching this, you're the first to know. Over here, they show you how to start tomatoes from seed. Always, always helpful. But this is the way that I am going to be trellising my tomatoes this year. And like I said, I get inspired. I am easily influenced by what other people are doing. So I am going to be looking into getting these hoops that they sell, and I am going to be trellising my tomatoes this way. I don't know how that's going to work because sometimes I just let my tomatoes go a little bit wild, but I think that if I keep up at least on a weekly basis, they should be fine. So they teach you how to do all of that. Obviously, a lot of this information is for the farmer out there, but you can easily take this and make it on a smaller scale. So if you're not sure about, getting their pots and trays, check their website, see what they are all about, and maybe get to know them before you invest in their quality stuff. So I don't actually know how many I have here, but I think that maybe I have 15. So I'm going to use one of these thick trays. These are like the standard thickness. I'm going to use one of these inserts, and I am going to use the new size that I got recently. These are the 3.3 inches. I'm going to start with 15. And the potting mix that I am using is from Burpees. And every time I use potting mix for anything that I have to do with seedlings or starting seeds or anything, I always add a little bit of water, just because I know that this thing is going to settle in the containers. And I just also don't want to be breathing anything. So. And as I am placing the soil, the potting mix here in these containers, I am not really pushing hard on it. I'm just very gently kind of pushing the potting mix a little bit down. Okay, for this part, I feel like I need to bring you a little bit closer. I need you to look exactly at how thick my geraniums are growing. By the way, these geraniums have been here almost a month. They have been growing in this container almost a month. And I use regular potting mix, and I just spread the seeds in there. So, and the tools that I'm going to be using today, nothing special, is this little, I think this is for succulents. And I think somebody gifted me this a couple of years ago. If you don't have anything like this, I will suggest getting like a butter knife to help you with what I'm about to do, but also use a Sharpie. You'll see here how things work. I gotta start somewhere, right? I mean, you just gotta start digging things out. I'm going to look for the easier one. I am going to look for like a seedling where you have the easiest access, and I'm going to try to scoop out the plant as gently as possible with as many roots as possible. And this is what I have there. Then I'm going to grab my container, and then I'm just going to make with my finger, or depending the size of the seedling, I could use something like this. This is good. And I'm just going to gently place that one tiny plant there, making sure that the soil, the roots are covered. And then that's pretty much how this is going to go for the rest of this. So it's easier now to start from where I first removed my other seedling. Like I said, sometimes you just kind of have to go for it. And right here, I know that I have a couple of seedlings. So I am just trying to make way and make sure that, I don't cut a plant in half. But right here, I am going to be digging a bunch of them together. And that is totally fine. Because that way, instead of having to take one from 20 of them, I just have to separate these guys right here. Going to have to do it so that you can see. So these right here, they get separated very easily. It also helps if you water your seedlings ahead of time. I didn't water this today, but I watered them yesterday, and I gave them plenty of water so that it's easier for them to get divided, to separate. That's 2. That's pretty much how these are going to go. Look at this. Look at these two. These two get really easy to separate. You just kind of gently help them get separated. So that's for geraniums. If I show you every single seedling here, this video is going to get super long. So I'm just going to finish doing this, and I am going to show you how to do the Coleus. Okay, for the Coleus that I have growing here, I am going to use the 6L plugs to transplant into, or to move them up. And the reason for that is because I know that these guys are going to take a while, so I don't really want to move them into something like really, really huge. These are definitely, once these, I don't know, here maybe in another month, I will move them into the 2.5-inch containers, and I mean, they're going to be fine. I am going to start with the Mighty Mosaic, which is probably my favorite Coleus. And these Coleus, I believe, have been here growing for a little bit over a month, and I am going to pretty much do the same thing. Let me see if I can bring you closer. Okay, there we go. I'm going to switch them just because I can do it easier this way. So I am right now, I'm just going to try to get them all out of there as best as possible. So this here is one. These guys, I'm just going to kind of gently squeeze the soil. I am trying very, very careful not to hurt the roots. And you'll feel them as they start to separate. Oh, this one is so tiny. This one is very tiny. Look at that. This one is gonna go in its own place as well, because that guy is going to grow. Perfect. Let me see if I can show you. And the idea is the same. This guy has a lot of roots happening here. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm just going to make an opening there. The most important part is that you don't disturb the roots as much, and that the roots get nicely covered with soil. Make sure not to bury them too deep as you're doing this. It's easier with bigger plants, I should say, because you can manage them a little bit better versus having to do very, very tiny plates, but very, very tiny seedlings. These guys are definitely going to love being here. Having the extra space, not having to be fighting. Look at this guy. This guy is huge. It's awesome. So for that one, I'm definitely going to make a big opening there. Very gently. If you lose a few seedlings as you're doing this, I mean, that's fine. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do because I don't want to prepare just one space for this guy. I'm just going to put it right here on the side together with this tiny one. And once they grow together here, once I move them up into another container here in about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks maybe, then I'll divide these two. Here are my mighty Coleus. Like I say, this is probably my favorite Coleus. I'll see if I have a clip of how it looks like when it's absolutely amazing outside. I got the seeds from Pine Tree Seeds. So anyway, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Perfect. So that's one. If it's out of the frame, then you can't see it and you think that my area is super clean. So this one right here is called Fiona Sunset. This is a dark burgundy / pink color. You can kind of see how it looks in the middle. It has some shades of pink. I got the seeds new this year from Baker Creeks, and not disappointed. Not disappointed. Oh, okay, this one guy just came up. Just came up nicely there on its own. Okay, so this guy is going to be there. And right here, I know I cannot just take all of them in one scoop. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to find an opening, and I might have to hurt one or two as I do this. But I'm just trying to scoop them out as gentle as possible. And then the rest is just easier to get to, if that makes sense. So for these guys, look at that beautiful bouquet of Coleus. So for these guys, I just very gently start moving them around, moving the soil around the roots, and gently start, you know, trying to let them tell me which way they want to go. Here is one. And like I say, watering these guys like heavy the night before helps. It will be a huge mess if I water them right before I do it. Look at that. Look at the gorgeousness. But watering them the night before is usually very, very helpful. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I'm going to show you how it looks like. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. Okay, so I have plenty of Coleus here. I'm pretty much going to do the same thing for this Coleus. I'm just going to place them into a 6 cell here. And this is where they're going to stay until they are ready to go into a bigger container. There we go. Okay, so for the last plants, the last seedlings that I am going to be putting up today are these Snapdragons. If you want to know, the Snapdragons were started on February 13th. And like I said, I make 5 lines of different varieties, 5 different varieties of Snapdragons. They have been growing here lovely. I am going to use these trays. This is actually the first time that I am using this, and these are the perfect choice because the Snapdragons that I have growing here are going to go out early in my garden, so they're not going to be hanging out here for much longer. Probably another, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops, and then they're going to go outside because they can handle the cold. And having just one tray like this with all of my Snapdragons, it's just going to be a lot easier to handle. And if you made it this far in this video, let me know if these videos are helpful for you, because I wonder sometimes. Okay, I gotta make sure when dividing these guys, because I have 5 different varieties, I just wanna make sure that I work with each variety at a time. That way I don't mix them, because I can just get chunks from each different section. So I'm going to start this Madame Red, and oh, good. And I did water these guys this morning, so they're a little bit wet, but look at that. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do So I have them here. I'm just going to bring them in. And it's the same idea that I had for the Coleus. These guys are just going to love it here. I'm going to grab some extra soil so that if I need it, I'm just grabbing some regular, because I feel like if I need it, I have it. And there you go. There you go. This little guy is ready there. And there are instances where I have like these guys right here are really close together, like they were growing really close together. All I have to do, you can really do two things. You can just come here and snip these guys and just, you know, take one for the team. But I'm going to take it, I'm going to divide it. Beautiful. Perfect. And if you are like looking at this and thinking, my gosh, I will hate to be you. I know that a lot of people don't like to do this part. And honestly, I don't mind it at all. But also I am not, you know, just here in the quiet doing this. What I do is I have a PC here, I have a computer. So normally what I do is there we go. These are tinies, but that's okay. So normally what I do is that I either watch YouTube or watch a movie or some sort of documentary. I watch other people start their own seeds. Some of them are really strong, some of them are really weak because they're growing really, really close together. And that's what happens. And I am okay with it. Look at that. Look at this. They're beautiful, beautiful. These are very wet. I should have waited and not watered these this morning. I don't know what I was thinking. And it just makes a huge mess. That's why I don't like to water them the day that I'm going to divide them. And if I feel like I need a little bit of soil, I just grab some. I have some extra in a container there. I have like the biggest mess and I don't want to touch my computer too much with these hands. But that's pretty much how I am going to separate these Snapdragons. I have plenty of Snapdragons and I have a couple of these trays already ready with potting mix. I'm definitely going to use those. I might actually need a third one. But like I say, these guys are going to go out early onto probably my flower beds. I don't know if I'll place Snapdragons in my raised beds this early, but I am going to start more Snapdragons just in the same way that I did this. I'm going to start different succession. These guys, I started them in February. They're gonna go out early. And now in March, I am going to start another set that they'll probably go out until May or the last of April. So that's it for this video. Thank you for being here and I'll see you on the next one.